finally live. How funny was that? I hit record on my Zoom and I never hit go live here in Restream. So I could actually be live here on LinkedIn and YouTube. This is being recorded for the podcast Courageous and Free with Jacquelyn Mack. And I cannot wait to jump into this episode. Actually, this next month is going to be massive when we're talking about building your momentum in your business. When you're talking about working smarter, not harder, specifically today, and how to increase your income without burnout, without falling into that revenue stress cycle, the hustle, the grind, the hurry up, and then see what happens. So if I told you scaling didn't require sacrificing more of your time, more of your energy, or more of your what? Sanity? Would you love that? Because today we're going to break down how to scale your income without scaling your stress, without taking your nervous system and throwing it out the window versus giving it that love and care. And learn how to escape the what? The revenue burnout cycle. These are going to be some critical components, whether you're doing your first launch and hoping and praying for that first 5 to 10K cash month, or you're already at multiple six figures each month. And there's going to be 3 essential hires that shift you from that hustle to harmony. And that's where a lot of people kind of get bottlenecked because they're like, oh my gosh, I got to pay these people. And I'm like, well, duh, because these are revenue generating people. And if they're not on the bus, or we don't make that hire. And why your calendar should be a reflection of your values. Ooh, how many of us have taken a peek at our own calendars, and are we controlling the calendar, or is the calendar controlling you? And does it feel good? Does it feel light? Does it feel fun? Because you're living. Your calendar is proof of whether you're just living a beautiful life based on your time and terms, or are you just existing and sacrificing and settling and not just treating it like a task list? Because I was guilty of that. And sometimes I fall into that. Sometimes I'll put things on my calendar and then all of a sudden I'm like, why is there so many little things on Thursday afternoon to get done? Well, obviously, if it's not scheduled, it doesn't get done, right? But only we can check ourselves, but before we wreck ourselves. So again, whether you're stuck at, 20K months, 45K months, 5K months, 10K months, or you're just starting out, or you're on this trajectory to do $500,000 months, but you just don't know how to get there because you're ebbing and flowing between 48K and 100K and 125K inconsistently. This episode will show you how to scale sustainably, build a freedom-based business first from a model where we're leading from aligned action. And there's going to be a lot of strategy shared today. There's going to be a lot of energetics shared today. I know that might be a new term for people here in LinkedIn land, but it's true. If you think about how you do anything is how you do everything. And the energy that you pour into something is going to be the same energy that's going to be required to sustain and obtain those same results over and over again. Or it's going to require more of it because you want more of whatever that result is. So every one of my clients, I have this combo at some point when I say, think high leverage, low lift, right? So this is when we want to scale without actually doing more. The freedom first shift. Freedom first shift. Why more revenue doesn't mean more responsibility unless you allow that to be the truth, right? So when we think about this, think about it at the space of, pardon me 1 second. There is a dog barking. I need to have him stop because I thought he was downstairs. 1 minute. Hey, no, sir. No, sir. No, thank you. That's our new rescue. Well, he's 6 months in our household now. But going back to thinking high leverage, low lift. Every one of my clients has this combo with me at some point when we're discussing expansion versus forcing. It's like, okay, we got to go to the next level. We got to hurry up. We got to hustle. We got to grind. We got to map this out. We got to do it again. We got to do it bigger. We got to do it bolder. We got to hire more people. We got to push it. It's like, okay, why? Because this other expert said it's the only way. Okay. Well, there is no only way. It all works or did work. And your job is to take the action and find out what works for you. for your business, for how you want to experience your business, how you want to grow and expand your business. And if you're still in like a leadership role or you're an employee somewhere, this is still the same thing. It takes courage to maybe go against the grain or to speak up or do things a little differently, but why not? Especially if it's going to produce a better experience for you and for others. Why not? Who are we not to do those things, right? It's shifting from figuring it out, right? Figuring it out is usually like, I got to figure this out. There's some force energy. I got to make this work versus be, do, have, which is simple. Be already the person who's done the thing and then start doing the thing, then you'll have the results because you started the being first. It's not have it, then be it. It's be, do, have. And taking that consistent aligned action, which will require courage, no doubt. Or you're actually going to be playing too small. So if you're not requiring yourself to tap into your courage, you're playing too small. It's okay to play small if that's where you want to be, but don't tell me you want something else and then you're complaining because you don't have it because you decided to play small. And this is where I like to say, instead of trying to figure it out, let's find out. Let's be curious. Let's play in the space of possibility and potential. Let's look at this as I get to energy versus I have to energy. Like you get to run your business your way. You get to be on a team and be told what to do and how to do it some other way. It's a choice. Neither are right or wrong. Neither are good or bad. It just is. And it just depends on like, who are you? Where are you? What type of leader are you intending to be and to experience in the world? Quick story, how I finally started scaling my own sales in my business with my coaching and my done for you model as well, with my done with you model. And many of my clients still do this to this day. Every single person I have this conversation with at some point. And what we've all done is we reduce our deliverables, our done for you deliverables specifically. When you reduce the done for you deliverables, you can still build high leverage, low lift. Low lift means less work for you to create, right? So this is why I have a done for you model, my DFY. And then that is deliverables that I'm doing for you. And I increased the high leverage, low lift with the done with you model, the DWY options. And even I have what? DIY options, do it yourself, my self-study courses. You don't even need to hire me for the done with you, the coaching, unless you really feel called. I mean, many like to accelerate their experience with the integration of the work that's in the self-study courses. And so they'll hire some coaching, some done with you coaching time. Or for example, lately I do significantly less one-on-one calls. And I generously pour into my clients through the back pocket coaching, which is in WhatsApp or Voxer and voice memos that are pretty much 4 days a week versus what it used to be like 24/7. Yeah, for the next month, 24/7, I'm in your back pocket. Draining. And plus, is that really supporting my clients and creating the time freedom they desire if I'm not modeling it already for them? No, it's not. And then when I tighten in my calendar, I actually increased client success faster, which is cool. Okay. Next piece I want to jump into is diagnosing that revenue stress roller coaster, right? High revenue months followed by burnout or drop off. I have a client right now. I'm actually doing some big things with her. She's amazing. I'll probably share more soon, but she had really good multiple six-figure months. And then she had a 78K month. And then she had a 48K month. And then it was like, oh my goodness. And then we had a couple coaching calls. And then she had a 94K month. Two. And most of this was her getting in her own way. Her thinking like, who am I to be doing this? Oh my gosh, this is what happens. It works for a while and it's not sustainable. I'm like, if you believe that to be true, you'll be right and it'll be your truth. If you don't want that to be your truth, then why are we making a belief a fact when it's not? We can choose a new belief. And how many of us have been, I've said this on other podcast episodes before, do we allow somebody else's belief to be a fact? Oh, the reason it's not working is because you have to do it this way. It's like that way might work, but let's ask better quality questions and figure out like maybe there's a hybrid way that's really going to explode and expand in an amazing way because we tapped into next level possibility, potentiality, and not just status quo. So why you have these cycles, if you're thinking, okay, scaling isn't sustainable, there's going to be dips, like things dip, our heartbeat dips, we oscillate, like life is ebb and flow. Energy is constantly being exchanged. It's neither created or destroyed. So again, like I said, it's going to be energetics with strategy because both are required to grow a very strong, healthy business. There are universal laws out there that you're working with if you're familiar with them, or you're working against if you're not. It's just like gravity. Do you want to work with gravity every day, or do you want to like test it all the time and fall flat on your face? Right? It's your choice. I mean, and we get to have fun. So I laugh, but like we get to have fun too. And if not, I believe we're doing it wrong. There is no wrong or right way, but to me, that's a big wrong in my world. So when you keep saying scaling is unsustainable and you feel like you have to fix it, well, there are multiple ways to fix it, right? First and foremost, like I have a structured sales strategy with boundaries. I don't believe in slimy scripts. I don't believe in half the things that people even talk about, whether it's overcoming objections. And I say, well, what if you just help them have a shift in perception and not like say things so like in your authority and like try to overpower and push them to say yes. Instead, create a space of curiosity and potentiality for them and honor the fact that they're going to say yes and for their transformation, or they're going to say no and they're saying no to their transformation. And maybe it's just not a priority. And it took that conversation to figure that out. So what I can tell you, in order to create sustainable scalability where the dips aren't so drastic that you freak out in your business, but there's like little bumps in the road where like, oh yeah, we're oscillating. This is normal. Then you basically raise the bar for your lower limit threshold. So like if you're used to making 20K months and you're like, I want to go to 50K months, and you hit a couple 50K months, how do we create the 50K month to be your lower limit versus your upper limit? This is what I get to dive into when I'm working with my clients on a ROI reboot, one-on-one coaching, or a mini sprint where we're creating momentum. We talk about this and we have breakthroughs around this. But for today, I'm going to share with you, there are 3 musts that are required for scaling. 3 musts. This is when I'm talking big numbers. I'm talking multiple 6-figure months. There hasn't been a single business that I've worked within where they were doing multiple 6-figure months and they did not have one of these people on their team, because we're not meant to do these businesses alone. Now, could you have multiple 6-figure months? I know a couple people in the coaching space that they're little magicians and that they coined themselves as that. And Shosh is one of them. Taylor's one of them. Some of my coaches, like my own mentors, don't do a lot of the things I say I know work so well, but they're doing multiple 6-figure months. But they're doing these things in their business, even if they're not hiring it out. That's my point. So required to scale is going to be a success team lead who is in control of the client's experience, the client's success, because at the end of the day, it's not, control is actually the wrong word to use there. We aren't in control of those things, but it is our responsibility to show up and be engaged and to assure that the client experience is at the level that we are promising our clients. Are we exceeding their expectations? Is it clear what's expected from us and what's expected from them in order to obtain the results that they hired you for? So client success leader for sure. And almost making sure like that team is built out at least 80% if you're going to do growth. Like for example, I got hired in to build out a sales team for a weight loss doctor, genetics weight loss doctor. She is the leader and she's still owning it, right? But she already is the leader. I'm helping her own it. And when I bring in these sales reps and they start closing 150 to 200K in revenue, and that looks like 20 new clients every single month per rep. Now we're at 40 clients new per rep. and they're going through a 16-week program, you do the math, it's compounding, right? 1 month it's 80, the next month it's 160, the next month. So it just keeps compounding. And then eventually people roll over into their legacy program. So a client success team has to be in place, or guess what's going to happen behind the scenes? Client experience is not going to be what we set the bar for and what we have designed it to be. Client success is important. Obviously, a sales leader, call him a director, call him a pod leader, to oversee the sales team, right? And if people are like, well, we don't do sales calls and we do six figures, great. There has to be someone managing your DMs, managing your content marketing. If your content is doing the sales for you, fantastic. That is the hardest code to crack for most people in business. And hopping on a sales call with a structured, seek to understand type of conversation, helping someone say yes and helping someone say no is the goal, and not making it mean anything. Fully committed to the outcomes of helping as many people as possible, but completely detached from their answers. Not making it mean anything. Not making it mean they're saying no to you, because they're not. But it is our job as a professional to help them say yes to what they desire. And most of the time, they just don't believe they're worth it, or they're scared. They're due to lack, to circumstance, situation, old money beliefs. Which, by the way, if you're like, yeah, that's me, I'm probably blocking my own sales, go get my money codes. Go get my money codes course, and I promise you it will unlock that for you. If not, I will coach you for free. But you have to do the work. You can't say, I did money codes, it's not working. Show me where you did the work, because there's a lot of work in there. And it's not a check the box one and done type of work. I still do the work. I still have the conversation. I still have the thoughts. Like, old patterns and habits and behaviors, they will sneak back in. But when we create new patterns and habits and behaviors that are firing and wiring more frequently, the other ones start to silent and dissipate, and they get weaker, just like when we use a muscle. So did you catch that? Success, client success team lead, sales team lead, and then obviously, I want to say a solid lead gen marketing team. Not just nurturing, but lead gen. Like, again, the faucet or the tip of the arrow is not there, we don't have a business. If we don't have leads, we don't have a business. If we don't have connect and convert sales structure, we don't have a business. That means revenue is not coming in. If we're not connecting and we're not converting, or we're connecting all day, but we're not converting, we still don't have a business. So that is what's going to build that scalable, sustainable operations that you so desire. Is it simple? Yes. Is it easy? Depends. Are you coachable? If you're coachable, it'll feel very easy most days. Not all days, but most days. And that's how you create that daily revenue generating task force. The client success has their part, the sales has their part, and the lead gen has their part. Now, like I said, hiring that out makes complete sense. For some, it's like, not yet. Well, where are you with your revenue? Where are you with your profit loss statement? Do you even know those numbers? Know your freaking numbers. Know your numbers, know your numbers. This will create a healthy ROI, period. Now, why delegation and automation are required, not optional. This is the trap of being in the bottleneck of your business. I have a client who was stuck at 20K months and grew. Now, on average, her now lower limit is 50K, because she hired out what? She really desperately, based on how her model works, operations, which I know of a really good ops person. If you're like, yeah, I need help with ops, that's my bottleneck right now. Is it really ops? Is it really sales? Let's jump on a strategy call. Let's figure this out. Because sometimes what we think it is isn't always it, but we want it to be that because we feel like if we just had that, it would be easier, because we don't want to do the hard thing. When we do a hard, life will be easy. Have you heard that statement before? It's true. When we do what's hard, when I do push-ups that are hard for me, my muscles grow. And when I go to lift things and do other things in life, that it's easier. It's a low lift. It's a low lift. So when she hired out her operations, when she also hired out organic lead gen, and then she added in some paid ads based on some proven processes and strategies, and then she brought in sales support. That was the last thing she wanted to do. She wanted to still do the sales, which was great because that's what I coached her on anyways. That was her delegation decision when she did the delegation decision mastery matrix, which, by the way, is a PDF. So she didn't just say she needed that. She did the delegation decision mastery matrix, and it showed her where to delegate very quickly, staying in her zone of genius, and then allowing and trusting other people to do and use their zone of genius in her business. Now, this is a new module inside of Sales Codes, by the way. So those who already have it, go in, check out that delegation decision mastery matrix, check out the leadership flow formula, check out the time urgency audit. And this is like, hello, where am I investing my time, effort, money, and energy? And am I really getting a return on investment on that? Go check it out. And if you're like, I don't have any of that, DM me and we'll get you in there. It pairs very well, like I said, with the urgency trap audit. Very, very well. When you take the delegation decision mastery matrix with the urgency trap audit, boom, there are no excuses. And then obviously, I have my power prompts every month. If you just did the power prompts every month and trusted the strategies that just you were attracted to that felt really good, you really wouldn't be complicating this whole process in the first place. Which is why I laugh, because that was me. I was like, I had to figure it out. I had to control it. I had to do the things the way that I was told. And it was like, but why if there was an easier way? Because that was the old thought process. You work harder. No, you work smarter. Work smarter. Trust yourself, which takes courage. And then take that consistent action. The key is consistency in all of this. If you haven't heard the consistency in what I've been saying. So last one, I think there's two more. Revenue grows where energy flows. This is intentionality. Being intentional, being intuitive, trusting your feelings. When people say, trust my gut, real faith, real trust. And then how do you track this? How do you track where your focus is, your attention, your money, your resources, your energy versus where your income is coming from? Because burnout isn't just from hustling and grinding. Listen up. Burnout is not just from hustling and grinding, even though that is how I burned out twice. But it was also because I resisted living out my true purpose. I was playing small, making big money in other people's companies. So yes, even when you're breaking records or making bank for someone else and living out their dreams with them, for them, but at the cost of what? At the cost of my own dreams? That's where burnout will actually manifest. Instead of stepping out with unwavering, like unwavering. And I don't know if many of you have put yourself in a position to be unwavering with your courage, but that's what's required in unshakable faith. Faith is still believing it's happening even when everything else is showing you it's not. But be careful, because there is this line, it's a gray line, that I did a podcast episode, I think way back in January, on insanity versus perseverance. And it's like having unwavering courage and unshakable faith, but don't do the same thing over and over expecting a different result. Are you pivoting? Are you testing? Are you measuring? Are you monitoring? But also open to like a quantum, like, whoa, not sure how that happened, but that was pretty radical and that was unplanned, but that was the something more. I was like targeted for this result, but I got the something more. Yes, I want to do that again. It happened that way because you were unwavering in your courage. It happened that way because you're unshakable in your faith. And it happens to me all the time. People are like, you're just lucky. And I'm like, I create my own luck. I allow the luck. Are you doing the same or are you blocking it? Because you would be lucky too. And if you're not a lucky person, it's because you're blocking it. You want to be right, be right. But you believe you can do it, you're right. You believe that you can't, you're right. I would rather be abundant than right. I don't know about you. And I know that I am. And I know that you are too. We're all capable. We're all have the possibility and the potentiality. And are you doing and being led to do what you're being called to do? But we have to be, do, have. And this is where I do vision activations. And when people go through these vision activations, they're like, why didn't you tell me about this at the beginning of our relationship? Some people I just feel aren't, at least I feel they weren't ready to hear it. Who am I to tell you if you're ready to hear it or not? But I lead by my feeling, my intuitive guidance system. And I lead in like, maybe this is what's holding you back, especially when someone keeps saying, I'm stuck. I don't know how to decide. I don't know how to get clear on this. I'm like, okay, vision activation it is. And then once we unlock that, you know now how to live from your future self. You know how to decide from your future self, because your future self is experiencing X, Y, and Z, is attracting X, Y, and Z, is already done A, B, and C. And the mind doesn't know the difference. So when you have such a powerful, activating statement, story of who you are, how you be, what you've accomplished, and you're playing that when your subconscious mind is the most receptive and the most vulnerable at specific times of the day, when it's most receptive and most vulnerable, how could it not happen any faster? Again, strategy and energetics, it's all required for this level of playing out in life. And if you're not that way, it's okay too. But how can you take nuggets of this and just test it, just play with it? Again, space of curiosity, the place of potentiality. And then shifting from that scattered hustle to focused action, focused, aligned action, thinking, being intentional with what you say, being intentional with who gets your time, being intentional with what you're doing and how you're doing it, being intentional with who you be, being intentional with what you're feeling and what you're making something mean. Whoa, I know I'm going deep here. I'm going deep. Someday, this is what you get. I was on fire coat, and it's probably because of the full moon, but I'm not going to give the full moon all the credit, but I'll work with the moon. If there's some gravitational law that I don't see about the full moon, I will play in that all day. So, scattered hustle, ditch that. Focused action, intentional, aligned, high leverage, low lift tasks, aligned offers, intentional boundaries. Does this all finally feel like it's coming together? Because here we are at the end of the day, living this amazing life, and yet we're sacrificing. At some point, we are sacrificing. Me giving my time here on this podcast is taking time away from me with my clients, my current clients right now. I could say it's taking time away from my kids and my husband, but they're already doing other things. They're sacrificing, right? They're going to school, they're doing their own job. But at the end of the day, like, at the cost of what? At the cost of doing the things they love to do, at the cost of me doing the things that I love to do. And if it's ever at the cost of something that we're like, wow, that energy exchange does not feel good, that sacrifice does not feel good, where we will lead to burnout, which will eventually burn down your business, or it'll scale it in the wrong direction of what you thought you wanted and desired to a direction that you don't. But then there's so much to learn and play with there, because it's happening for us. It's happening for us. Freedom first approach. What does freedom mean to you? What does discipline mean to you? Is it time? Is it money? And how much and why? And what does the growing of the income mean to you? And how can we get curious in the space of possibility of like, yeah, I can do this with less stress. I'm not sure how everybody else I see doing it is stressed the F out. But could I do it this way without stress? Yes. Yes. And if some of those things that are causing you stress are things you can hire out that are required, client success, sales, lead gen, which one could you just take the plunge and hire out today? Like, take action today. Money loves speed. Not hustle, not grind. Different. Speed. The pull energy versus the push. I'm going to wrap this up today. Let you know, of course, there's multiple ways you can work with me. First and foremost, if you're not in my email list, why aren't you? Hello, you're missing out on getting free power prompts every single month. You don't have to download these once and be like, oh my gosh, what did I do with my PDF? I send them to you every month. You're welcome. Take the power prompts and use them every month. All of this will hold true and fall into place because you're being intentional. You're being intentional what worked. You're being intentional looking at what didn't work. You're being intentional on, am I really closer to my goal or farther from my goal? Do I even want that goal anymore? And it's okay to pivot, right? So power prompts, always, it's free. I mean, I have people message me all the time. I'm horrible at collecting testimonials. I'm getting better at that. I should probably hire a client success person on my team to handle that for me. I might take my own advice on that here very soon, because I also have my Thursday workshop, Sales Momentum to Mastery, right? And it's not just about what you're saying in your sales conversations, but how are you positioning yourself? Most of the time when people come to me for sales challenges, it's a lead gen challenge and a positioning challenge more than a sales challenge. Womp womp. But once we dial those two things in, now we get to have fun with the sales, with the growth and expansion. And now we're closing from 20%, 35% to 55 to 70%. That's where it gets to get fun, because now we're having less sales conversations and making more money. Who wouldn't love that? Less stress, right? More time freedom. Momentum mini sprints is available. I think there's, I look over here, 3 or 4 of those left. There's a person I spoke to yesterday, might grab one of those. ROI Reboot, it's a 5-week experience where we dive really deep into positioning. We talk about you doing some market research and taking your business to the next level. That's why it's called ROI Reboot, Return on Investment Reboot, on what you've been investing already into your business and how you can now make that new minimum, or sorry, your new maximum, that new baseline minimum, right? Which we were talking about earlier. There's only 2 spots for May. We're halfway through May. 2 have already been taken, 2 more left in May. If those are taken today on my workshop, then you'll have to wait till June, but that's not far away, right? So yeah. And of course I have 6 month, 12 months, but the only way, if you're a repeat client of mine, you can hop into any of those at any time, as long as there's availability, which both of those have availability right now. But if you're new in my world, it has to be a one-on-one mini sprint or ROI Reboot first. That way we really gather in the baselines, and I know you're willing to do the work, and I'm in alignment with you, right? The strategies and the energetics that I teach, they're not for everyone, but everybody that comes across my path and was like, oh, I hired you for this and we went this way, and thank God. There hasn't been a moment that every single client at some point, whether it's in the first week, the first conversation, the first coaching call, or the first few weeks, this was a divine intervention. I prayed for someone like you. And I'm like, wow, you're welcome. But like, you had to do it. You had to say yes. I'm just here to be the vessel. I'm just here to be the catalyst. By the way, I'm coining the term millionaire catalyst. So if you start hearing people calling me that, that's what I do. I come in. When you're ready to make the millions, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. I'm your MVP until you can be your most valuable player and hire those valuable players for your team. Or I'm your MVC, your most valuable coach, until you're like, yeah, I can coach myself now. I don't get in my own way anymore. How cool is that? How cool is that? Because I designed my business to be that way. All right, I'm sending you off with so much love. If you need anything from me, let me know. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, self-study courses are always available. I have the Rise Up program, Radical Intentional Self-Expansion to unleash your unlimited potential. That's all the energetics I was just talking about, but on a deeper level. There's probably, I don't know, 50 something modules in there. When you buy that, you get lifetime access. I have sales codes. I have money codes, also self-study. If you have any problems with sales, or maybe you just want to take your game to the whole next level and you really want to learn how to ditch the script and stick with structure, have those confident conversations, pique curiosity. Again, it's that feminine masculine type energy, which again creates your ecosystem to be an ecosystem where it's not if people are going to work with you, it's when. And I'm saying that again without ego, not if people are going to work with you, but when. If you knew every person you connected with, it was just a matter of when, and you help them with their own timing of their when without pressure, how good would that feel? It feels pretty freaking good. Come on over to my world. All right, I'm going to leave you with so much love. Until next time, bye for now.